Welcome to Kalimahora with me, George Galloway, on Al Mayadeen Television, coming to you from London, but discussing Pakistan, and in particular the removal from office of the popular Prime Minister Imran Khan, and the great bounce back that he might now be engaged upon. For the avoidance of doubt, I'm not an Imran Khan man. I spent more than 30 years literally at the side of the late Benazir Bhutto, the Prime Minister of Pakistan and the daughter of the great Pakistani leader and martyr Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. So I'm not your natural Imran Khan supporter. But I know an American-inspired regime change operation when I see one. I have, after all, seen a very large number of those. And the question we are posing this evening is, was Imran Khan removed as part of the normal internal political operations inside any country, or was he removed from abroad? And is, as he alleges, his usurpers merely a front, an imported government, imported by the United States of America, in retaliation, you may say, for his failure to support Western countries in their ostracism of Russia over Ukraine, and his traditional allegiance to Pakistan's relationship with China. Perhaps it's acceptable to the West for Pakistan to be an ally of China, but to be an ally of China and Russia at the same time may have been a step too far. Imran Khan was rudely removed from office just like that. They convened the court, which is normally a sleepy affair, hardly at its work before noon each day, at midnight to consolidate his overthrow. But since then, Imran Khan has embarked upon a nationwide series of rallies which are simply stunning in their scale. I'm talking crowds of millions of people, even in places that are not particularly his heartland. In Karachi, in Lahore, in all kinds of places some of you will never have heard of. He's packing hundreds of thousands, even millions of people onto the squares in what are called jalsas, great rallies that must be making the imported government's blood run cold. That's not to say there are not legitimate criticisms of Imran Khan. I have many of those myself. But maybe people are responding to his call because they're tired of Pakistan being used by the United States of America for its own geopolitical purposes, even when those purposes are quite obviously against the interests of Pakistan. It's against the interests of Pakistan for China's Belt and Road Initiative, for example, to be sabotaged. It's in the interests of Pakistan to have a close relationship with a booming Chinese economy. It's obviously against Pakistan's interest not to accept oil and gas and wheat from Russia at discount prices, because Pakistan's 220 million population needs these things. It was not in Pakistan's interest to be the base camp for the Afghan war from the 1980s until now. It flooded Pakistan with millions of refugees that nobody else pays for, as well as drugs and guns and crime of all kinds. And yet that's what Pakistan was used for. Many Pakistanis, most I think, regard Pakistan as having been used and abused by United States power. And the removal of Imran Khan may, for them, have been the last straw. Imran Khan's great march throughout the country will culminate in a march on Islamabad itself. And as his demands are modest, free elections now, it's very hard to see how you muster an argument against that. After all, the Prime Minister has been removed. Let's have an election to pick a new one. That seems to me a demand whose time has come.